people? Where is the people? They're not here. They're in there. She thinks you're here. All right. You ready to go sit in your chair? You ready to go sit in your chair? What? Where is everybody? They're not here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the So Now What podcast. My name is Carie, and I am coming to you from near Portland, Oregon. And I want to welcome everybody. If you're a new viewer, thank you for checking me out. This is a podcast about quilting and knitting and creativity. And if you're a return viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and welcome to everybody. I posted a video last week about how to put together the Playful Pyramids table runner. And I did a tutorial. And, sorry, I got an itchy nose. And so it's only been like a week since not even a week since I put a video out, but it's been a couple weeks since I had a podcast. And I want to do a giveaway. And so I had to make a recording. So you're getting a recording today. Today's August 1st. It's Monday. I've never recorded on a Monday. I don't normally record on a Monday, but I am going to be babysitting a friend's dog on Wednesday through the rest of the weekend. And I didn't want to have that distraction while I tried to record because she's fun. I love having her, but she's young and playful and energetic and would want to sit on my lap or a squeaky toy or something. So I thought, I'm going to just do this today. So, yeah. So that's my intro for what it's worth. Thank you to everybody who had such kind things to say about my table runner tutorial. That was the first time I had ever done anything like that. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I got tongue-tied on trying to give my directions, and, you learn as you go. But I think overall it turned out pretty good. I even set up the extra camera so you could get a close-up view. I think next time I might zoom that in a little bit better. So there's some things I would do differently. But for the first time, I thought it went okay. So if you're curious about it, it was posted last week, and it's called the Playful Pyramids Table Runner Tutorial on this channel. So I should show you what I did. Okay, so to do the tutorial, I had to make a table runner. So this is the one that I made. It's going to be kind of hard to hold up. So I did it in greens with a cream beigey background. So it's all put together as just a top. I need to quilt it so it will go on my long arm to be quilted. I had to wait because I was quilting this one that's behind me. So I'm going to ping pong around here. This is a quilt that I quilted. I didn't make the quilt, but I quilted it for the Mama Made It quilt shop, and it's wool applique. So the background, this is all cotton fabric, and then any of the flowers, the bucket, all that stuff is wool that was appliqued on. I don't know what the deal is with it. I don't know if it's a kit, if it's a class, if it's a sample. I'm not really sure. Sorry, my nose. So anyway, that's what I had on my machine to quilt, finished it this morning. And so now I can get my table runner on the machine and get it quilted. I'm just going to do really simple something. That's the plan. Sometimes it changes once I get going on it, but that's the plan anyway. But when I was quilting this one, I had a tip that I wanted to show you that I used when I did that. So, whether you quilt on a long arm or you quilt on your regular sewing machine, sometimes you need to mark lines depending on what design you're going to do. A good way to mark, if it's on a medium to dark fabric, is I just use chalk. I just use school chalk. And this is good for if you're just needing to make maybe a registration line, like you need to stop here, or in this case, I did feathers right here, which you would have seen in the intro pictures. And so the arc I marked so that I could follow that line. So a good way to do it is to just use regular school chalk. So now, at least in the States here, it's a back to school time. School starts anywhere from now through September, depending on where you live. So chalk, and I'm still assuming chalk's available. I mean, I know now they use dry erase boards, but I think you can still get chalk. I've had this box of chalk for years because I don't use it very often. So you take a piece of chalk and you get, this is a pencil sharpener that also has a fat hole that is for fatter pencils or crayons. And put your chalk in there, give it a few twirls, and you've sharpened it like a pencil. And then you just mark your quilt with that. Chalk washes out. And if you want to kind of get the marks erased more quickly before you wash it, you use a microfiber cloth. I have this one that's just part of my supplies for my long arming, and you just rub it on the quilt and it takes most of the chalk off, and then you'll need to wash it after that. So helpful little tip, super cheap. I think a box of chalk is, I don't even know, like $1 maybe. I bet you can find them at the dollar store. Just make sure, I don't know if there's a way to tell. I don't think they put anything in chalk. Don't use colored chalk because that's got some sort of pigment in it. Just white chalk, a pencil sharpener, sharpen it to a point, and mark away. So if you're making that table runner and you need to sharpen it, sharpen it. If you need to mark it, that may be a good way to do it. Now, I can't mark on this fabric because it won't show, at least with the chalk. But I could mark on the darker if I needed to. So anyway, I thought I would just give a little helpful tip on some quilting stuff. So, as you could see in the intro part, I've had kind of a busy few weeks. I can't remember when the last podcast was, a couple weeks ago. And we went on a hike to Ramona Falls, so that was some of the footage you saw. And that's a hike that we haven't done, probably 7 or 8 years. And it's just up on Mount Hood. Mount Hood is just outside of Portland, on the east side of Portland. And there's just a ton of trails. It's a beautiful mountain, lots of rivers and streams, and just a cool place. And we hiked to Ramona Falls early in our hiking career, if you want to say that. It's kind of in the early stages of when we got more serious about going a little bit further, which kind of cracks us up now because that hike, it's a pretty easy hike. It's 7 miles round trip. And I remember the first time we did it, it's like, whoa, we hiked 7 miles. And then to think of that now, where some days on the PCT that we did a couple years ago were 20 miles in a day. So our big 7 miles was a big accomplishment back 7 or 8 years ago. So it's kind of funny. But we hadn't been there in a long time, and just was like, we need to get out. We need to go on a hike. And so we went and did that, and it was gorgeous. The only tricky part is you got to cross the Sandy River. And so the Sandy River comes off of the Sandy Glacier off of Mount Hood. And so it's a really cloudy river because it's glacier rivers are real silty. There's a lot of stuff that's mixed in them, so they look kind of milky. And normally they build a bridge, the Forest Service or whoever builds a bridge over the Sandy River for people to cross. And then every winter it gets washed away, and then they build a new bridge. So the last couple of years they haven't been building a bridge. And it could be because in 2014, the year that we were on our hike, had a big thunderstorm that hit the most of Oregon, and tons of rain hit. And so the river swelled and people were crossing the bridge, and a big bunch of water came and washed the bridge away and killed a couple people. So pretty tragic. And I don't know if that was what caused them to stop making the bridge, but anyway, there's no bridge. So you have to cross on a log. Luckily there's trees falling. I don't know. I guess trees just fall on the river, and there's a huge tree that's crossed it. The river in the summertime isn't real wide, but it's rushing pretty fast. It's milky, so you can't see the bottom. And it's powerful enough that if you were to walk across it, you don't know where you're stepping because you can't see where your feet are going. And there's enough force it could knock you off your feet. Which, it's not super deep, but because of the force, you're going to get bounced around on rocks, and you're going to break some stuff and you could get hurt pretty badly. So you don't want to fall off the log. So here we go. We get up to the log, and it's like, oh man, they didn't put the bridge up, and the log has no bark left on it because of people crossing it and the water washing it away, which makes it slick. as you're approaching the log, the ground is sandy. So now there's sand on top of the log. And I'm thinking, I'm going to fall. I just know I'm going to fall. I'm totally freaking out. Jim's like, it's easy. It's like, I can walk across that no problem. And we had Millie with us. And I'm like, oh, what if you dropped her? And so he's super confident. I made him put her harness on, hooked her leash up so that if she fell in, we could at least pull her back up. He humored me and did that. He got across, tied her up on the other side, came back for me, and then I went across holding onto his shoulders. So that's what the footage is. It scares the bejeepers out of me, especially when we walked across it the first time because it's kind of downhill. And that's when I will slip, if I'm going to slip at all, because my center of gravity is off. You know, my feet will just slip out from underneath me. Going back the other way wasn't as bad because you're kind of going up a little bit and got better grip. So I made it. Went across it, but because there's no bridge, there wasn't as many people as there normally is, because it's a pretty popular hike. And so it was just beautiful. It was just lovely. It's a beautiful waterfall. If you live in my area, I highly recommend going and checking it out. The funny thing was, so random, but on the trail, a couple people stopped to ask us about something. Oh, there's a guard shack somewhere along the Sandy River, and they wondered if we knew where it was. And so we got to talking, and I recognized the lady. And I said, "Aren't you Anne-Marie?" And she's like, "How do you know me?" Well, I've been following her blog for years because she's also a long-arm quilter. She's a runner and an avid hiker. And her hiking and her pictures of her hiking a lot around Mount Hood and just because she's in my local area really inspired me 7-8 years ago to get out there and do longer hiking and more serious hiking. So she was a big inspiration to me. She recognized my name because of the long arming community and stuff. And so we chatted and she took a picture. I didn't think to take a picture when we were talking with her, but it was just really kind of cool. We had our little moment and it was really neat. So I don't know if she's watching, but Anne-Marie, if you're watching, hello. It was really cool to meet you in person. So that was kind of fun. Went and hung out at the waterfall, had some lunch, and then hiked back in the forest. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful day. So we had to make sure we got back by a good time because I had a quilt that I put in our county fair and I had to go pick it up. I put my black and white and yellow quilt that I talked about it and I had it on the wall, episode 7, I believe. So I entered that in our local county fair and I got first place. I got a blue ribbon. So it's pretty cool and I appreciate the ribbon. It's not hard to get a ribbon at the fair because it's a small fair. And unfortunately, they've broken down the categories to so many different places that it's easy to fit in there and place to some degree. But I do appreciate the first place ribbon. So that was kind of cool. And that'll go up on my ribbon wall over there. So that was neat. Got home and picked that up just in time. And so that was pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, you know what? I'm going to talk about the giveaway. I want to do a giveaway. I appreciate the fact that you all come back and watch this and you subscribe and interact with me, which was what my goal was when I set out to do this. And, I kind of jumped in with both feet, which if you've been watching me know that that's kind of how I do things and hoped for the best. And it's been wonderful. I've had conversations online, mostly with fabulous people, and you guys have been all so sweet and kind, and I appreciate it so very much because I feel like I'm part of a community, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And so it's time for me to do a giveaway. I haven't done a giveaway for nothing, and so here it is. So this will be my subscriber giveaway. I don't know what you want to call it. So I made a bag specifically for this giveaway. And so this is what you're going to win is this bag. It's a good size bag. You can easily fit a shawl, sweater, that kind of thing. So this has got a pieced star on this side. and a pieced pinwheel on this side. And this is kind of a seafoam kind of color, I think, with my cute little stitch marker I made up there. The inside is like a celery green color. Oh, but wait, there's something inside. You get one of my new skeins of yarn because look, it matches the bag. Look at that. The colors just match. So this is Paradise City that I dyed over the last week or so. And this is on my lovely base, which is an 80-20 superwash merino nylon. And it's beautiful. And I really want to keep it as I do all my yarns. I know I got to stop saying that, but the bag and the yarn could be yours for only $9.99. No, just kidding. All I want you to do, and I thought really hard of how I can actually do this, because I know some people that subscribe and watch are quilters and some people are knitters. And so I have a varied audience, but I couldn't think of how to get people to like enter. So I'm going to do this on Ravelry. So you can find our Ravelry group. So you go to Ravelry.com if you're not a Ravelry member already. It doesn't cost anything. You don't get junk mail. It's just a site. It's a fabulous site full of gobs of information and patterns and things like that for knitting and crocheting and yarny everythings. But there's a Ravelry group for the So Now What podcast. So I will open a thread, and I've been having a hard time deciding what the question should be. And I thought this is a good time for me to get some feedback from y'all and see what do you like or dislike or would like to see more of or less of or whatever. Tell me something about the podcast. It's your chance to give me some feedback. And I'm not looking for compliments. I'm not fishing for compliments or anything like that. I just thought, I'm sitting here talking to a camera and, is there something you want to see more of? Is there something you wish I didn't do? Do you want to talk about the lighting or I don't know, something? Give me something about the podcast. And I will not comment. I promise I won't comment as much as I want to comment to talk to you guys, because that messes up the numbers. And then I'll do a random number generator, and I will close the thread on, I picked a date. I'll close the thread as of like 6 o'clock in the morning-ish, August 15th. And then I'll do the random number thing, and then whoever I pick wins. So you get this bag. It also has my inside pockets. Can you see that? Ooh. Here, let me fold this back. You can see I've got inside pockets, which I love pockets. Everything needs pockets. And bags that I have that I use are bags that for some reason are kind of rejects for me that I've made that I don't feel like I can sell. And so I get them, and a lot of the early ones didn't have pockets, and I don't hate them, but I always wish that they had pockets. So anyway, you get this lovely one-of-a-kind bag. There will never be another one like it, I promise you. And my Paradise City fingering weight sock yarn. So find me on Ravelry and let me know what you think. And then hopefully you'll win. So that's exciting because I love to give stuff away. And so that's really super exciting. On the previous episode 13 that I did a couple weeks ago, I said I wasn't going to start any new projects. That lasted about 2 days. And it's not my fault. It's totally my friend Lori's fault. Lori, it's your fault. But it's okay. I was really determined, and I was going to start on my Dangling Conversations shawl that didn't have the needles on it. And I thought, what did I do? Where did those needles go? And I realized that those needles are what was on my Campside shawl. So I thought I need to finish the Campside shawl before I can go into that one to finish. So finish one thing at a time. So I really dedicated myself, excuse me, just a second. Really dedicated myself as much as I could to getting it done. I really wanted to have it done for you to show you. I am almost done. Look, I don't have very much yarn left. I am on, oops, I got a Post-it note on it. I am on the ribbed border. It's you do like a ribbing. Yeah, ribbing. And so it's gotten big. This marker, that's where I left you guys. So I've gotten quite a ways because this is a lot of stitches. I've got almost 400 stitches-ish. I haven't counted, but I think the pattern calls for about that much. So I've just started doing the ribbing. I've only got like that much done. And so I will continue with that because it's so close. It just takes a long time. And sometimes I don't feel like I have, it takes probably a half an hour to get across one row. So that's hours and hours of work when you see where that marker is. So I'm going to continue working on this. It's been my TV knitting, especially now that I'm at the ribbed part. I don't have to think about it. And so it will be done by the time my podcast next. I will just go until the yarn runs out because honestly, I don't really have that much. And it takes, I don't think I'm going to get as wide of a band of ribbing as the pattern calls for. And I'm totally cool with that. So this will just go for as long as it goes. And I'll have to start weighing it to see, so I make sure I have enough to bind off because I got to bind off a lot of stitches. So it's getting there. It actually goes this way, but that's where my needles are. So I've been working on that, even though I said I wasn't going to cast anything new on. My friend Lori, who's just so sweet and generous, she bought some yarn to do the Random Active Color shawl. And in our conversation, I was kind of waiting for her to start it because I wanted to kind of knit along with her. And I told her that, and so she gifted me the pattern. And that was just super sweet. Well, my gosh, you get a new pattern, you have to start it, right? You have to. So when I met up with Michelle and Leslie from the Naughty Knitwits podcast, we have been meeting up like once a month to go sit and knit, usually at Dublin Bay Knitting Company. And so I thought, okay, that'll be a good project to start with that. And so I started it there and found the beginning of the pattern for some reason was confusing me. And it was confusing me because it was written like the directions were so detailed for like the simplest thing that I was reading too much into it. And so anyway, I ended up coming home and starting over again. And I think I started a couple times, but started getting it right. So that's as far as I got because I got that far and I thought, okay, put it away. You started it, put it away, finish the Campside shawl. I mean, because that's a big project. So I'm happy with it. This is Madelinetosh. This is Madelinetosh, which feels nice when it's knitted up, but while I'm knitting it, I don't know. It doesn't feel as nice, but once it's in the fabric, it feels really good. And so I'm loving it. It's going to be beautiful, and I'm glad I started it. So Lori started hers too. I don't know how far she is, but I had to put it away because it's lace right off the top, and even though it's not hard, I have a hard time concentrating on it when I have to concentrate on something else. Even if it's just a TV show or a conversation or whatever, I have to concentrate on it. So that lasted a couple of days, but that's the only new thing I started. I swear that's the only new thing I started. Okay, where was I? Sorry, it's garbage pickup day, and I guess right now is when they were picking up my garbage. So I was starting to tell you about my socks. So I think I showed you, I must have, where I was doing my Felici sock. What is it? Dark side. There's not much left because I'm almost done with the sock. So this was the first sock. Just did a vanilla sock, did a slip stitch every fourth stitch when the colors changed. And the funny thing is I lined everything up just perfect so that they would match because I thought that'd be cool if they matched. But look what happened. right here in this yellow is wider than this yellow. And it's the same amount of stitches. Everything's the same. But it threw me off because when I got to the heel, look at when I turned the heel and stuff, I had a little bit of the black here, and here it just makes it almost look like stitches, which kind of looks cool. But I don't know. It's just something in the way that they dyed it. And so the thing that's weird though is once it got past that, it's like all back in line again. And I don't know how that happened. Because if you can see, I know I'm flipping it back and forth, but if you can see here, so I'm lined up here, it's like it got back on track. So it's off here, but I think it's going to end up going back to being matching. So bizarre. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to be in my feet. But yeah, so I'll have sort of matching socks, I'm hoping. And we'll see what happens as we move along down the foot. So I've turned the heel. Now I'm just working on the foot and then get the toe done, and I'll have those done pretty quickly. So that's been really good. Knitting while I'm watching TV. Okay, so I had heard on a podcast, I don't remember whose, that talked about the TV show on Netflix called Stranger Things. And I thought, I'll have to check that out. I'm not one for scary flicks. I get scared pretty easy. I'm a big chicken when it comes to stuff like that. It just completely freaks me out. And then I heard it on the radio, them talking about it. I thought, I've got to check this out. So I told Jim, hey, we got to check this out. He's okay with scary stuff, and he likes all that kind of stuff. So we started watching it, and oh my gosh, that show totally freaks me out. I like it. It's good, but I can't binge watch it, and I'm really much better watching it when it's still kind of daylight outside. And it's not like it's super scary, but when the stuff kind of starts, it gives us both the chills. It's so good, and then there's always some parts where things that jump out at you, and but it's good. So I've been knitting these because I don't have to concentrate, and I'm just like stress knitting. I'm just like, something's happening. And I'm just like going Mach 90 on these things, watching that show. So we've watched up to 4 episodes. I think we watched the 5th one. I can't even remember. And like I said, it can't be too late in the night because it freaks me out. But it's good. So I do recommend watching it. My son and his partner were over for dinner last night, and I was telling them about it because they love that kind of stuff. And so I'm curious to see what they think of it because it freaks me out. It freaks me out, but it's good. I know people. Some people just you probably watch it and think it's ridiculous, but anywho, okay, that's my works in progress. Okay. I have something new I want to cast on, but I'm going to wait. But I thought I'd share it with you because I need a little input. This is I want to make this hat for my niece. It's the bobblehead hat. It's popular. I know a lot of people were knitting it last winter. I don't know when exactly it came out, but I know it was real popular last year. And it was not something I ever thought I could tackle. But Leslie, when we were got together, she was saying that's a good first color work type of project. And I thought it would be really a cute Christmas gift for my niece who's 14. And Leslie said her daughter wears it and is about the same age. So I think it'll be cute. So my question is, I'm going to make it out of acrylic because I know she's not going to be careful when she washes it. And so I want to make sure that it can just be tossed in the washer and dryer and be good to go. And she may even lose it. Who knows? So I didn't want to do anything that I was investing too much money in. So my thought was, because you've got on the hat, you've got the sky. So my thought was this for the sky. The problem is it's not a full skein. So the skein has 100 grams, 218 yards. I weighed it and I'm at 75 grams or something like that. So when I look at the directions and the material requirements, they show the pattern in 2 different colorways. And so they said that they used 1 skein, 50-gram skein of Aran weight. This is worsted weight, so it won't be quite as big. And then the next color, they say they used 2 skeins of Aran weight. So it's either, and they're both 50-gram balls. So I guess it depends on how thick or thin. So I know a lot of times when they'll say in patterns like you need 2 skeins. Well, you may need 2 skeins, but you don't need to use all of the 2 skeins. So being that this is about 75 grams, will I have enough of this to make the sky? I also thought because it's just Knit Picks acrylic yarn, I'm pretty sure like if I was getting low and I ordered this color, it will match close enough. I don't know that there's really that big of a difference in their, not their colorway, but their, oh, I know you're screaming at me. Darn it. Dye lot. So anyway, I'm thinking of this for like the sky part. This will be some really pretty bright purple because it'll be her. This is freesia. This is cornflower. So this will be the brim part, which is like the ground, because what sheep wouldn't want ground and, purple and aqua to live in. Then I do have a wool. It's Cascade Pacific wool for the sheep. So I thought that'd be okay because it's just a little bit, and it's superwash merino, so it can be washed, but it's just for the sheepy, and it's a little fuzzier. So I thought that'd be cute. And then the black, I have more of the Knit Picks Brava yarn. So the Knit Picks Brava yarn is very soft. It's not like the Red Heart and stuff like that you get. That's kind of scratchy and stiff. It is really soft, so I think it'll be a good yarn for it. And then if she trashes it, I haven't invested a whole lot in it. So these were the colors for that. I just want to know what you think. If anybody wants to give me any input, if that's made it, if they think 75 grams-ish, I will work for the sky. And like I said, it's probably not that critical because I can always order more. But if I order more, that means I have to order more than just a skein of yarn because you got to pay shipping. You might as well make it worth your while. So you might as well buy more stuff. So it could cost me more than a couple bucks at the skein costs. So anyway, that's what's going to come up. I wanted to do some pod share and share with you guys a couple of podcasts that I have found over the last couple of weeks that I've enjoyed. The first one is a must watch, and it's David over at DogDare. I found him a few weeks ago, and a couple weeks ago, I guess. He's got 3 episodes so far, and I really enjoy him. David, I just feel like I connect with you. I don't know why. I just do. I feel kind of stalkerish a little bit. But love his podcast. He, on his last episode, talked about when he went to an insane asylum overnight, like middle of the night in the dark with just a flashlight. And like, there's no way in holy heck I would ever do that. But he's a knitter and a weaver and makes things, and he's super cool. So definitely check David out. Another one I've been watching is Strings and More with Shauna and Jamie, and they're out of Long Island, New York. And Shauna is a yarn dyer. She has lamb strings yarns on Etsy. And they're just 2 friends talking about knitting and yarny stuff. And I've really enjoyed them. They've been really fun to watch. They have 9 episodes up now already. So they're putting them out there, and they're really fun to watch. So I really enjoy them as well. Another one that I've only watched a couple episodes of, but I like her, is Julie over at Sweet Sparrow Knits. She also dyes yarn and has an Etsy shop under that same name. And she's real sweet. And I like her, what I've seen so far. I have to watch some more of her episodes. Julie has 9 episodes. Shauna and Jamie, I think, have 7. Anyway, not a ton, but those are my picks for the week, picks for the podcast. I don't know, some pod love, showing some love. So anyway, check them out if you have time and you're wanting to find somebody new, those are some really good podcasts that I enjoy. I think that's about it. I'm going to go into shop update stuff and show you some of the yarns I've been dyeing. So if you are finished and that you don't care about that kind of stuff, thank you so much for watching. And if you do care, then here we go. So I have a couple more of the camping bags that'll go in the shop. That's it for the camping fabric that I have right now. So these have green zipper, the same, what is it, like an aqua blue interior with pockets, and it's the camping bag. So those two will go in the shop. I got to take pictures of them. And those are the only bags I did. So then, except for the bag that's for the giveaway. So don't forget about that. Don't forget about the giveaway. Enter the giveaway. You could be the lucky winner. You have a better shot than you do at Powerball. And it doesn't cost you anything to enter. I'll even ship internationally. So I've been playing with a lot of colors and just going for it. So I have some fun stuff. This is Flashdance because it's totally 80s. It's totally 80s, and I think it would make some awesome socks. So this is on my 75-25 superwash nylon base called Delightful. This is in the shop. This is Delphinium, because if you look in my shop, you'll see the picture that this is based off of, and oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's violet and blue blended together. It's gorgeous. This is also 75-25, 463 yards on this. And another one on the same base is Granite. Oh, that one got kind of squished. It's Granite, and it is a beautiful medium gray. Got some speckles of some, my nail polish is peeling off. Some like chartreuse and brown colors, a little bit of black speckles. Looks like granite. So those all are on the 75-25 Delightful base with 463 yards. Then I have Hot Buttered Rum. This is on, upside down, this is on my Lovely base, which is the 80-20 superwash nylon. Has 400 yards, 100 grams. These are all 100 grams. This is a real pretty golden buttery color with little bits of brown in it. It's really yummy. And then I have another skein because I had dyed two of Paradise City. This is also on the Lovely base, which is 80-20, 400 yards. And this is Raspberry Beret. Pretty, pretty color. When I came out of the dye pot, it was like, Raspberry Beret. You know, I'm not going to sing because I don't sing, but same thing, 80-20, pretty color. I wanted to do some that were tonals because it can't always be this, folks. Sometimes you need something like this to go with it. And then this is on my Dreamy base, which is an MCN. So it's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and this is Deep Blue Sea. So aquas and deep blues, little bits of speckling of black, gorgeous and really soft. So that base has 435 yards on it with 100 grams. So those are the new yarns that'll be in the shop. Thank you so much to everybody who has purchased from me or has even just visited my shop. I really appreciate it. And that's all I have for that. So I want to thank you all very much for sticking with me and watching my ramblings and giving me comments and feedback and love, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the interactions and all of it. So enter the giveaway. Go on Ravelry. Look for the So Now What Ravelry group page. Go follow the thread for the giveaway and just tell me something about the podcast that you like or would like to see or any suggestions. I'm always open for constructive criticism, and let's have some fun. So hopefully somebody, you're the winner. I don't know who's going to win because it'll be random, but it'll be cool. So thank you again, and I will catch you next time. I will probably film on the 15th or 16th, but the thread will close on the 15th. So look for a new episode there, and thank you. So I will see you all later. Bye. Bug in here. I think I got him. I think I got him.